When was it that you bought the helmet? And do you know that after a certain point, it becomes unsafe? So, with that, I've come across something really interesting today, and I want to share with you my impressions and review of something that is not only incredibly safe, very stylish, but also won't break the bank. This today is a review of the Specialized Align II MIPS. I'm going to get into the first impressions of this helmet. So when I put this on, it is a little bit on the heavy side. I weighed it. It's 322 grams. So, I mean, you don't feel it, but it is something to note. Now, I also like that there's reflective details here and here. So if you shine light, that, it gets really bright. I love that this is a matte finished helmet, which kind of, as you kind of go up in the price points on helmets, you notice that a lot of them have like a matte finish. So it kind of has that like bougie, stylish aesthetic that they're leveraging on their higher end helmets that Specialized make, which is really impressive. So that's a bonus. And then as well, okay, so they've got these straps here that kind of go around your ear. Now, they were really long and really big. Now, this is a size small. Now, I found this really weird because for me, I had to do a lot of adjusting. And even with the adjustments, it was still really long. So what I did is the straps go all the way to the back here of the helmet where it says like rear. And I kind of pulled it out and kind of tucked it in this gap. I'm Salvatore, a humble 9 to 5 office worker, someone who loves to cook plant-based meals, lace up my running shoes, crush races, get on my bike and just be fitter, faster, and just have an incredible time riding all around. I guess another thing I like talking about is aesthetics and color. So if you're going to buy a helmet, I'd probably recommend first and foremost you get it in a fluorescent color because that's going to be the most visible on the bike. That's what looks really good. Now, if you don't want to kind of go the fluorescent route because of like aesthetics and stuff, next best thing I reckon is to get a all white helmet. It kind of stands out more, and on hot summer days, which we'll get to my next point, kind of, is it's going to reflect the heat much more. Now, I don't think a black helmet is a good idea for two reasons. One, it's going to keep in a lot more heat. So on a really hot summer day, it's going to kind of cook your brain. So I don't really recommend and endorse that. Second factor, black isn't that, visible. White with these reflective details is actually a lot more visible. So I'd always recommend a white helmet more on the safety. So as I kind of talked, Virginia Tech give like ratings for their helmets or for a number of helmets. And interestingly, in Australia, Transport New South Wales have also started their own campaign and own rating for helmets. They actually rated this helmet as well. Now, the New South Wales is interesting because it gives the Align to 4 stars, not 5. But it gives, for 5 stars, you require 82.5 points. The Align only got 82 points. So it's kind of like a little bit off from getting the 5 stars, but it's like pretty close. So that's kind of like interesting food for thought. And you can kind of read the report if you're curious and see how they test. Basically, the differentiating factor is they do a bit more like real world testing, they call, and have more assessment metrics than what Virginia Tech uses to kind of give a more, I guess in their word, real world score or kind of more accurate rating system because it's kind of like looking at what Virginia Tech did and trying to improve upon it. Now, the only downside is it doesn't have every single helmet on there. It's only got, I think, about 80 helmets tested, maybe. But you can kind of use that as a guiding factor when deciding helmets. Now, if I'm like going to recommend this helmet, it might actually not fit you in the size. So this is why it's important to try helmets on in store. Probably wouldn't buy a helmet online because it's just too risky. You want to make sure the helmet can actually fit. But the reason I think this is one of the best helmets is Specialized as a brand is one of the big four cycling brands. Giant, Specialized, Cannondale, Trek. Specialized is almost in every single country, state in the world. It's pretty spread out. So because of that, it's quite accessible. So that's kind of like why I think it's fantastic because they've got so much reach and they've obviously designed a helmet that's so cheap but has still the safety functionality aesthetics. Yes, it doesn't really garage your sunglasses, but when you're cycling, you're going to have the sunglasses on anyways. It's kind of like a little nice to have feature. When you're at the cafe or you're like riding up, say, a mountain and you don't want your sunglasses to be on, you can actually sheath them in your helmet. I guess a good example to give context is Oakley came up, I think kind of started this, and I think it was POC. So here, because these are the Oakley sunglasses, Oakley helmets, in here, there's kind of like a bit where you can insert your sunglasses. So it looks like so. No, there. So it kind of looks like that. And it kind of, was it this way? And they kind of garaged in there, so to speak. So I guess the question is, can these do it? Well, kind of, but not really. Like, that's about as far as I can get them, because if I push them in anymore, they'll actually kind of dig into my head. And I guess they're secure, but also they're not really that. To round out how helmets work as a whole and kind of the current helmet marketplace. So you've got this helmet is over $200 right now if you're to buy a new one. So it's kind of like more than double, almost triple the price of the Align II. Something like this, a Laser Z1, I think this is like still floating around the over 200 mark. It's super light. It's about 251 grams. That's 274. That's 322. And then there's other helmets like the POC Ventral Air MIPS, which is 300. The Cast Patron, which is 350. Giro Aether, which is like 400. The high-end Specialized helmets are like punching 500, sometimes a bit over $500. So it's actually quite a ridiculous inflated like market. And the true inspiration for this is I've got my ebook Life Cycles where I talk about the Virginia Tech rating and how to pick your helmet, choose it, fit it, and everything. But what I wanted to do was, because this was so great, this helmet, and so interesting, I wanted to kind of do this video all by itself to kind of explain if, as I needed a new helmet, because going back to the point, helmets need to be replaced every 3 to 5 years, depending on like usage and stuff. This I've had for, I reckon at about 3 and a bit years. The pads I can't get, so I'm gonna, I can't use it anymore. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna get a new one, and it was $80, and I figured, this is actually pretty nice. I wanted to give a review, first ride, it fit really good. It's way cheaper than the current marketplace, but that doesn't mean it's not safe. It's still incredibly safe. Now, for additional context, if you'd like to read where it kind of fell down in terms of the ratings for Transport New South Wales, again, I'll link that report in the description. You can read it yourself. But again, it's punching well above its weight for price comparison. It's got MIPS. It gives you the added safety and security. It's got 5-star, almost 5-star, 5-star Virginia Tech, almost 5 stars for Transport New South Wales. It's got a lot of adjustability. The downside is this helmet strap. You could probably cut it and sew it back together for the excess. I'm just lazy. But you've got like the added functionality, like it looks aesthetic. It's matte finishing. There could be an argument that it's a bit more efficient in the wind, perhaps, opposed to glossiness. I don't know. Just speculating here. But yeah, so it actually isn't too good to be true. It actually for under $100, this is the best helmet. And I think I was talking to a friend the other day that actually got this and inspired me to buy this. They got it for, I think, $65. So it was even on sale as well. So it's almost like so much cheaper than the current helmets out there, but it still completely delivers to help you have confidence when you conquer mountains and conquer life. So now, if you're kind of ready to get this helmet, take the next step, start cycling and leveraging, to take your fitness to the whole nother level, then click the link in the description below and get yourself a copy of Life Cycles. If you want kind of more tips like this to cover everything you need to know about cycling, go ahead and get on it. But yeah, again, Specialized Align II MIPS, 100% great helmet. Go and get it. Of course, if it fits you, make sure you test. I'm a size small, but more on the upper end of that small. I didn't try the medium, but again, don't blind buy. Take your time fitting. Make sure do those tests that I showed you. Eyebrow test. put it on your head, go down, and if it stays on, it's good. Do up the retention, do up the straps. Make sure it's not too down, not too up, just in the middle, two above your brow line, one or two above your brow line, and then you're all set. And I'll give a additional point about how it goes in the hot weather and from a ventilation point of view. So conquer mountains, conquer life. Thank you.